Morning everybody, movie review time. The Favourite, starring Olivia Colman, Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone. Is it any good? What's it like? Should you spend your money? Stick around and you'll find out. Now, first things first, have I seen the best film of 2019? Well, quite possibly. It's not the first film that I've seen in 2019. The first film I saw was Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. Now, you'll be wondering, why has he not done a review of Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse? Well, it's a kids' film, and I'm 62, as many of you know, so it's not really designed for me. So anything that I say about it would be a bit snippy. Oh, well, you're just a fucking 62-year-old. You don't understand cartoons for kids. It's all right, actually. I quite enjoyed it, but I did think part of the time, what am I doing here? Why am I watching this rubbish? No, it wasn't rubbish. It was all right. If you've got kids, go and see it. It's a nice update. You do wonder how many Spider-Man films they can make, but it's a nice update of the Spider-Man franchise, and who can blame them? But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is The Favourite. Now, what is The Favourite? Well, you may have heard something about it because Olivia Colman won the Best Actress Award at the Golden Globes a couple of nights ago for her performance as Queen Anne. Queen Anne, you say. Who is Queen Anne? Well, Queen Anne was a Queen of England, yes, funnily enough, in the early 1700s. Now, I don't know very much about Queen Anne. When I was about 16 or something, I learnt a mnemonic, which is Brom 4689, which stands for the battles of Blenheim, Ramillies, Oudenarde and Malplaquet in 1704, 1706, 1708 and 1709. And that was doing a war against the French during the reign of Queen Anne, but I don't know much about her apart from that. Now, what happens in this film? Well, this film is about Queen Anne, not a mad monarch, but certainly a monarch with her issues, I suppose, is what we'd say to it in this modern day. And she has a lesbian relationship with a couple of people, one of whom is Lady Marlborough, who is the wife of John Churchill, ancestor of Winston Churchill, the first Duke of Marlborough, who was gifted Blenheim by a grateful nation after his victories against the French. Now, in this film, Lady Marlborough is portrayed as not just the power behind the throne, but in almost, you could say, the power inside the throne, as she spends a certain amount of time nuzzling, is that a good word? Nuzzling up to Queen Anne until she is supplanted in Anne's affections by Emma Stone, who plays a lady who has fallen from grace to become a servant girl for some rather complicated reason, and then is, as a consequence of her becoming the favourite of the Queen Anne, develops a bigger place at court and then an intense rivalry with Lady Marlborough, who is played by Rachel Weisz. Emma Stone plays Abigail, that's the name of the other lady. Now, a couple of things about this film that are wonderful. The first thing is, it's a film about women. And the three lead characters are women. There are men characters who sort of dance around them, but they're not lead characters. These are three strong, interesting, powerful women. And if that isn't a statement about Hollywood in these modern days, I don't know what is. And let's have more of it, guys. The other thing is, it's very funny. It's very rude. The certificate is a 15, and when you see the certificate at the front of the film, it says strong sex scenes. So I was thinking, oh, I'm in here. But there weren't any strong sex scenes. There was a lot of strong sexual language, and there is a lot of sexual innuendo, and it is very well handled, but there isn't a lot of sex scenes. So you can take your 15-year-old, I think it's a 15, you can take your children with a certain amount of, lack of fear. They'd probably rather go and see Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, but this is a fabulous film. Now, it reminded me very strongly of three other films. The first, and perhaps most obviously, is The Madness of King George, where Nigel Havers played George III in his descent into madness. And it's set in a similar period, not quite the same period, but a very similar period. The second film it reminded me of is Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick's film starring Ryan O'Neal, of all people. And the reason for that is that Kubrick's film was shot entirely with natural light. Lots of scenes lit purely by candles, and large parts of this film are lit either by candles or just by firelight, and it is beautifully lit, beautifully filmed. The interiors are sumptuous, the costumes are fabulous. It is an absolutely wonderful piece of filmmaking in that sense. The third film it reminded me of is Peter Greenaway's The Draughtsman's Contract, which is about probably 35 years old now. And it reminded me of that because of its episodic nature. In other words, it's divided up into a series of chapters, 8 chapters, I think, and each chapter has a little title, and then the scene follows on from that. The music is also very similar to the music that Philip Glass, that was it, Philip Glass, that Peter Greenaway, was it Philip Glass? I think so. That Peter Greenaway used, or was it Michael Nyman? Actually, I think it was Michael Nyman. Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused here. Anyway, the music is very similar to the music in The Draughtsman's Contract. I did find at certain places in this film that the music was rather intrusive, a bit too loud and a little bit annoying. So just a minor criticism there. The other minor criticism I would have is at one point, one of the characters says to another one, "It's okay." Now, I'm not sufficient of a student of the English language to know for certain whether the word okay was in common parlance in 1708 at the court of Queen Anne, but somehow I doubt it. Anyway, back to the film. It is a wonderful film. It is beautifully acted. Olivia Colman is brilliant. Emma Stone is excellent. Rachel Weisz is excellent. The minor characters are all excellent. It is superb. Superb. Hard to think of enough good things to say about this film. One does kind of wonder, one kind of longs for a time when our monarchs were mad. You can't really say mad, can you? But you want a monarch that is absolutely and utterly corrupted and destroyed by power. And our monarchs are kind of, they're becoming close to normal people. I don't think we want that. I don't think I want Prince Harry as a normal person. I want him as a mad, crazed, power-obsessed, lunatic monarch. If I'm going to be ruled by a royal family, and I detest the idea of being ruled by a royal family, but if I'm going to be ruled by a royal family, and it looks like I am until death us do part, I want it to be ruled, I want my royalty to be off the fucking wall. As Queen Anne, I mean, she's not mad, you can't say mad, but she has issues. That's it, she has issues. And the issues are not really resolved. So the film is funny, it is sad, it is tragic, it is enlightening. I have no idea how close to the truth it is, and I don't really care. It is a masterclass in filmmaking, and filmmaking for adults. It's not a children's film, it's not a film for young people, it's a film for thinking, that sounds a bit snobbish, it's a film for thinking adults. I saw it, as I always do, at the Dunwich Picture House with my darling wife Jane, and we loved it. We saw it on Monday. Monday is cheap seats day, which means the cinema is full of people who have plenty of money but like a bargain. And there are few things that annoy me more than somebody who has money and likes a bargain. And we were there on a Monday because we like a bargain. But if you want to see a great film, and possibly the best film of 2019 already, Close second, Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, that only being the 2 films that I've seen so far in 2019. Go and see it. See you next time.